Mornings are the worst.
Hey WordNerds, happy Saturday. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Earlier this week I filmed a day in my life. In theory, a day in the life of a full-time writer, in that I do spend more than 40 hours a week doing writing and publishing things, but I also have a couple of other jobs as well, which I'm sure you'll see a lot of here. I actually picked this particular day to film because I only had 4 dogs in my house, so things were a little bit less insane. It was March break here, so there was a little bit more dog sitting in my life than usual. So here we go, starting the day off with tea, feeding myself, feeding the dogs, and hoping for the best in just getting stuff done and getting my day off to a half-decent start. So these dogs are Milo and Cody, and then my dog Piper, and the one in the crate behind them is Susie. So 3 of them are here for dog sitting for the week, and then Piper is of course my dog, and they will be keeping me company all day. One of the first things I do pretty much any day is start off with some free writing, so in theory I can write anything and everything. The idea is just to wake my brain up a little bit, but most days I end up writing about how my day went the day before in terms of how I did on my goals, what I got done, if things got way off track, and then I will write a little bit about what I'm hoping to get done in the next day. I don't know how actually effective it is, but it is really, really good for just waking me up and getting me started. When I first get to my desk in the morning, I'm not usually in any sort of headspace to do actual writing, so this is when I tackle some of the other things I need to get done, like emails and just getting back to people on different projects, checking in with Patchwork Press interns, and basically just trying to get some of my to-do list down to a more manageable level. I do use Todoist.com for all of this, which keeps track of all of the different projects I'm working on at any given time, along with telling me what deadlines I have coming up and what are the most pressing things I need to deal with on any given day. In the name of full disclosure, I will admit that while I did my hair and makeup on this particular day, it is not something I normally do. Now, part of this was, of course, because I was going to be hanging out with you guys all day, but part of it was also that the day before had been kind of a rough day for me. I'd had a lot of doubts. I hadn't gotten as much done as I needed to. So sometimes when I'm having days like that, even if I'm not going to be interacting with people or needing to look human, I will put in the effort to kind of have a shower and do my hair and just be my best physical self so that I feel a little bit more capable of being productive, and I just feel better overall. Now, while part of my plan for this morning had been to get a bunch of stuff done off Todoist, by the late afternoon I had wanted to write 1,000 words, which didn't end up happening. Instead, I got a little bit sidetracked by going through and approving paperback versions of books for Patchwork Press books that are upcoming, and this can be really, really time consuming, so I just wanted to get it out of the way so that I could focus on writing in the afternoon, while CreateSpace, which is where I get my paperbacks and where a lot of Patchwork Press authors get their paperbacks, goes through and approves the files so that I can order proofs. Having you guys actually see my computer screen wasn't really an option for me, but I wanted to give you a rundown of what my writing setup looks like. I am wearing noise-canceling headphones, which is pretty crucial when you have 3 dogs wrestling around your feet all the time, but no matter where I am, I do find them to be super helpful. I have been drafting in Word lately. I have Scrivener, I love Scrivener, but I tend to get a little bit distracted by all of its features, so I will write my first draft in Word, and then as I'm reading through it, I will move it into Scrivener and start to break it down into scenes, and use all of Scrivener's amazing features in order to clean things up a little bit, so when I really jump into the editing process, everything is where it needs to be. But in terms of actually writing, Word is just my go-to. It has been for years and probably still will be for years, but I still can't recommend Scrivener enough. I usually also have Chrome open in the background. On one tab, I will have Write All Year open so I can input my word count as I go. Seeing my number for the day continue to go up is great motivation for me to keep writing. I also usually have a Facebook tab open because that is how I talk to most people during the day, and I am a weak woman. But I do usually have an extension open in Chrome that keeps me from checking my email or going on Twitter or basically doing any of the unapproved distractions. A big part of any work from home job, writing or otherwise, is unexpected distractions. My sister decided to come for a visit because, hey, I'm home and couldn't possibly be busy, and now there are 2 dogs on my lap, so I am definitely stuck. And even though this is supposed to be a hardcore writing day to show you guys the life of a writer, I've only written about 500 words so far, so I still have a lot of work to do. The good news is I've finally figured out how to use Snapchat, kind of, so that is definitely a skill that is just as useful as using my time to write a book. Probably. Okay, so it's about 7 p.m. now. I did finish writing that 1 chapter, so yay, and then I got majorly distracted by the thing that has been distracting me pretty much nonstop this month, and that is looking at all things promotions and stalking my sales dashboard, which tells me how many books I've sold, and basically analyzing other authors' sales and promotions and all of that fun stuff, which is, yes, important, but I really should be focusing on writing books rather than just, I don't know, figuring out what I'm going to do with them after they are finished. But it is a lot of fun and it is a little addicting, so I've been doing a lot of that. But either way, I did finish writing that 1 chapter, so now I'm going to take a bit of a break, go for a shawarma with Matt, maybe return some library books, and then come home and write another one. Hello again, welcome to my basement, also known as the land of no dogs and minimal distractions. I come down here when I want to be doing anything but writing because there are less things to entertain myself with, and usually I just have to sit here in this big inflatable chair until I write a chapter. So that's what I'm about to be doing right now, but basically what you can take away from this is that for me to have a successful writing day, having multiple options about how I'm doing my writing or where I'm doing my writing can go a really long way. So if I don't want to be writing at my desktop, I can try dictating in the basement, or I can try typing on my laptop in the kitchen, or on my Alpha Smart Neo in the backyard if the weather is permitting, which it is not right now, and I miss writing outside a lot. I think that is actually one of my more productive ways of going about things. But for now, I am limited to my basement, where at least I cannot go on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, or even doing other productive type things that I really should postpone in favor of writing an actual book. Because it's all too easy to let yourself think that you are being productive because you're getting things done that need to be done, but none of it matters if you're not writing more books. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me write again. I'm sure you pretty much know what that looks like at this point, but it's been a pretty good day overall. I'm going to try to get another 1,000 words, which will put me out around 3,000. Not quite where I wanted to be today, but I did do a ton of formatting and proofreading and did some editing for my next release, which is important because I always avoid editing. So all in all, it was an okay day, but tomorrow I am home alone all day, so I will be doing lots and lots of writing, at least in theory. So I am going to let myself off the hook for not quite hitting my writing goals today, which I think is a big part of being a full-time writer. You set goals, and if you're me, you set goals that are usually a little higher than are actually realistic because you want to push yourself, and then you kind of adjust your plan based on what actually happens, and maybe that's not ideal, but it's working for me so far. I did end up getting a little more distracted by dog-sitting shenanigans and NetGalley stuff today than I had originally planned, but that is kind of a reality of being a writer, even if you are full-time by any stretch of the imagination. Sometimes you do have to jump into other projects in order to make ends meet, and that is totally okay. Of course, my ultimate goal is to one day be all writing, all books, all the time, although I do think there are some dog-sitting clients I will keep and love forever. But right now I'm taking on kind of a do whatever I can in order to keep writing, push my career farther, and make ends meet in the meantime, and I am totally okay with that. Today wasn't exactly an interesting day, but it was a pretty typical day. And now I'm filming a new outro to this because we changed when this video was going up. But if you have any questions at all about any of this, please let me know in the comments and I will do my best to answer them, even though I am in no way an expert. And of course, don't forget to join us tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for our monthly book club, where we will be talking about The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, which, spoilers, I loved.